Up podcast. It is Wednesday, June the 1st. We are making our way through the earliest parts of summer. We hope you're doing well. We're glad you're joining us once again as we trek through the off season. We're in June, gentlemen. Kyle, student of the game, Kyle Nash, and Matt back with us. But since we're in June, that means we're one step closer to July, which means we're one step closer to August, which means football. So we are getting closer, gentlemen. I truly believe we'll be there before we know it. But Kyle, how you doing this time, bud?
Hey, listen, I'm going to be looking forward here to going to the NFL Hall of Fame for the first time in a long time, covering that. The deals I made with the devil. No, I'm not my wife. I had to hustle that separately too. I'm talking about my schedule in general. I got 2 kids at home, man. You gotta swing some stuff to earn the right to do that.
You do what you got to do, my man.
Yeah. After going to LA, I mean, shit.
I was gonna say you were in LA for the Super Bowl. You'll be in almost our neck of the woods up here. Maybe I'll have to make a trek out to Ohio. We'll work some of those details out as they get closer. But we
can't miss it, Jim.
Jeez.
I was gonna say let's do it, and now I don't.
Yeah,
Hey, I'll tell you what. I'll drive out there. We'll see a hockey game. Oh shit!
And Matt back with us this time. Matt, how you doing, buddy?
Doing well in the swing of summer, baseball season, NBA playoffs.
Yeah, and
MLS. Anyone?
MLS.
Hey, I listen. I'll listen, man. I know I made jokes about the MLS. Right.
I mean, MLS fans are like, eh.
Yeah, exactly. But it is a fun experience. I went to an Orlando City game, and it was a good time. It was weird about everybody shouting about excrement. Then I realized they were cheering for caca. Anyways.
Jeez. Matt, have you ever actually been down to I almost said a Union game?
To a Union match, yeah.
Yeah, I actually would probably check that out. I think I would enjoy seeing it live. So maybe we'll have to look at
Next
that one.
Next time I go, I'll hit you up if you're.
They do sell
available.
popcorn.
They do sell popcorn.
Sold. Get me there.
And beer. Beer and popcorn.
Beer and popcorn. Perfect. I cannot wait for that already.
2 food groups, baby. Woo!
There we go. So and speaking of which, I gotta get some more goddamn popcorn. But anyhow, but the topic for this week, as if you haven't picked up on the off-season theme yet, we're kind of going with these 1, sometimes 2 topic episodes, just to remind everybody we're still here. It's not football season, but we're still here. But just kind of working through some stuff that we don't normally get a chance to talk about during the football season because, that does hammer all of our focus when it comes from August till February. So this one, it's something that I know. I mean, obviously talking about MLS, you can't watch a soccer match even in the MLS without seeing corporate ads on the uniforms. The NBA, I know a couple of years ago, Matt, I believe every team in the league has a corporate sponsor on their uniforms.
That is correct. Yep.
Okay, so this year it did come out that starting with the 2022-2023 season, the National Hockey League will have a corporate sponsor on their uniforms. If you look back to the pandemic, the bubble playoffs, it was the first time that there was ads on helmets in the National Hockey League, and they said it was just to cover lost revenue because of the pandemic, which was probably part of it. But anytime businessmen see an opportunity to sell some ad space, they will take advantage of that. And it only took 2 seasons to go the route of, for the very first time, uniform ads in the National Hockey League. 5 teams have announced so far. The Washington Capitals were the first. They will have Caesars Sportsbook on theirs. They announced that back in September, actually. The Columbus Blue Jackets have Safelite Auto Glass. They announced that in March. The Pittsburgh Penguins have Highmark, which is a insurance group. That was announced. These remaining 3 were announced in the month of April. The Vegas Golden Knights have Circus Sports. which is another sports book that was announced on the 25th of April. And the St. Louis Blues announced, I don't know if it's Stifle or Stifle. They're a wealth management firm in St. Louis that was announced at the end of April. I'm sure as the summer and heading towards next season plays itself out, that most, if not all, NHL teams I would expect will follow suit and have some sort of uniform ad for next year. But then also Major League Baseball announced that I think beginning for the playoffs this season, you can have helmet ads. Beginning play in 2023, you can have a uniform patch on one of your sleeves. The first and only team so far to announce a uniform sponsor, Major League Baseball, is the San Diego Padres. Announced Motorola back in April as well. And I know from friends of mine and folks that I follow on Twitter, when the NHL announced this, you might as well have like burned a cross on somebody's front yard. Like, people were losing their freaking mind. And now for me, I've grown up going. I've learned the game of hockey in the minor leagues. I've gone to minor league baseball games forever, but in minor league hockey, uniform ads and helmet ads is that has been a thing that I have seen since the 90s. So this isn't a shock to my system in any way, shape, or form.
To neither of you. Matt is the soccer man as well. But Jim, I got to throw it in too as I'm watching Matt throw down his beer and show me that he has his priorities in the right place. I find myself like choking on a very interesting concept I can't get around. Like, wasn't it just a short, 5 maybe years ago, where someone would clutch their pearls at the mere hint of putting a franchise in Las Vegas? Now, these MFers are advertising a sports book. I mean, how far have we come?
Oh, dude, it is insane. I mean, I was at a Capitals game in the beginning of April, and I mean, they have a sports book in the arena. Like, they have ads all over the place on the big board. During games, this period brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook. You can't go 10 feet in Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. without seeing Caesar Sportsbook logo somewhere. It's wild.
Yeah. Well, and ever since the necessary laws were passed, this was back when I had the Dinner Time podcast with Tokyo Jameson. We invited on our good friend G. Stelio, GWSTWLIO, by the way, who was frankly one of the better betting analysts out there, and he was definitely a degenerate in his own right. Let's be clear. Certainly better than anything EJ and Zach do. Yeah, I said it. What? No, but he actually spent a lot of time talking about the negative aspects of what gambling in sports does. But I think this extra revenue is a good thing. What I would say to these fans that are whining, crying, and bitching is like, you would rather the prices of the admission go up another year? Sure, eventually they'll do that anyway. But in the short term, can maybe we not pay a $13th for a beer?
Yeah, and that that's been my big thing is like, look, like, for the most part, especially like with the helmet ads in the National Hockey League, I'm like, how many times are you that close where you're seeing a helmet? And how, like, even when you're watching on TV, I mean, yeah, they show a close up, but are you really focusing in on, the PPG logo on the Penguins helmet? Like, I mean, like it's an odd.
Sometimes, though. I mean, if you see a weird emblem or logo, you're like, "What is that?" And you look it up. That might be what they're looking for.
And I think,
they want it to stick out.
There's a reason it's there, and I mean, the Penguins one sticks out to me. Number one, because it's a different color than the uniform.
Right.
So they're black and yellow, so it's a blue PPG logo, and like. Right. From like a matching standpoint, it like an OCD almost, it almost bothers me. But it's like, if you're PPG, you're not changing the color of your logo just on the Penguins helmet. Your logo is blue and white. It's going to be blue and white on the helmet. It is what it is. But But like,
it's all about delivery too, though, Jim. Like, it's something you can really lean into and make it an awesome experience. Make it a additional swag for fans. Make it for a good cause, even. I mean, blue is associated with fighting, I forget what type of cancer, but PPG could have a blue addition to the jersey. And, it doesn't have to be bad. It's all about really kind of getting the team and the product kind of working together in a relationship that makes sense. Like, for example, USC for years has had the Trojans. That deal's going on. And anyway, no, but you see what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
It's all about finding something that can work and can flow into it. I've seen some ad logos that look pretty damn cool. You just got to spend a little time on it.
Yeah, and Matt, your thoughts on that before I move on?
Sure, and I actually we're not on video, but I do have visual representation here. So it has to be subtle. Like if you've watched an NBA game, you've seen it's a small patch in the corner, whatever the sponsor may be. And I don't think people will freak out to that. But if we get to the extent that soccer gets to, and like Kyle mentioned, I am a soccer fan, so I know, and I have plenty of soccer jerseys. Jim, if I hold up this jersey, what would you say the team name is?
That's Artisano, Matt.
Oh no, this is actually a Philadelphia Union.
Oh, is it now?
Oh my God! It looks like Argentina.
What if I were to hold up this jersey?
Oh, that's the Bimbo Bakeries.
No, actually, that's also a Philadelphia Union.
Is it now?
What if I were to hold up this jersey?
Is that Betway?
This is actually a West Ham United jersey.
Oh,
of course it is.
Of course it is.
Here's the best one when you get down into Mexico. Here's the jersey. What team is this playing?
Oh, it's AT&T Home Depots.
Well, no, you're close. But what if I go to the
the Coronas? My bad.
No, this is actually. Wait, no, it's Club America. So if we get to the level that soccer gets to, that's when I think people will start to have more of a reaction. If we keep it subtle, like we've seen in NHL and we see in NBA, I think that the fans will just get used to it, like they got used to the logos and the advertisements on the ice or on the boards, or on the outfield wall in baseball. Stuff like that, I think, is doable, and I think that's going to be acceptable for the fans. But if we get to the level that we've seen in soccer, that's when I think we start seeing fans start to have an issue.
And I mean, I'm showing you guys a picture on our call. So if for those listening at home, just plug into your Google machine the European hockey jersey ads, and then click images. Brace yourselves, because it is going to hurt.
I always think to the scene in Major League 2 when they walk out onto the field and they're like, "Holy shit! It looks like the Yellow Pages out there."
By the way,
with Chico's bail bonds, right? Wasn't that the bad news?
Yeah. Anybody in need of a good proctologist, look just over the right field wall there.
And I think that's what most fans thought of when they first heard like advertising. Like, it's going to get to the point where like you're like, oh, are we rooting for like the Lowe's team, or are we rooting for the Philadelphia Eagles?
Is it going to turn? Is a hockey uniform going to turn into a NASCAR jumpsuit? Like, so I get it. I get there are some.
There's a line.
I'll say mildly legitimate concern from fans. But I think what people also forget, and I don't know how soccer clubs and like the financial stability or anything of that are, but for like those European hockey leagues that have the uniforms that look like skating billboards, if they didn't sell all of that ad space, a lot of those teams in those leagues wouldn't even exist.
Have you seen some of the salaries for the players, though, too? I mean, listen, you can cheer for Ronaldo all you want to. I picked a name. Sorry, Matt. Like, what that guy is bringing in pounds or euros.
Sure.
They got to get it from somewhere.
But like, I don't think that's going to be an issue in the National Hockey League. I mean, we're seeing more when you broadcast, whether it's national or regional, they're putting up graphic ads like on the glass behind the net, or they're changing the graphic ads that are on the ice just inside the offensive zone. So like there's a lot more revenue and TV deals and things like that where some of that ad space gets sold that doesn't end up on the jersey. So personally, I don't think it ends up in a situation where, you know, the Capitals logo is being replaced by Caesars Sportsbook logo. You know, hopefully I could be wrong, and it could turn into what the MLS is, but I personally don't see it at this point.
In major American sports, I feel like the brands are too prominent in and of themselves to be truly impacted, right? You will always have that eagle head on a Philly jersey for the Eagles. You know, you will always have that damn star on a Cowboys uniform. I would ask somebody what's on the Giants uniform now, but nobody on this panel would know even if EJ was here. So, you know, but like those now, I make jokes, but like I'll put my own team out as their while their logo of that SF is branded thus. It's so subtle. If there's a team or a logo as such that's in threat of being supplanted, it's going to be like that, or the Giants with their little NY. Like for those teams out there that have a character or a logo of some sort, the Bucks, for example, with the flag, or if they throw back to Buccaneer Bruce, you know, any of that, they're kind of protected from the standpoint that team as a business organization wouldn't want to supplant any of that strong branding, right? The Browns, they're just kind of screwed.
You know, go ahead, Matt.
NFL's probably a hard league to gauge on that just because the logo itself on the jersey is so subtle to begin with. It's to the extent that the advertising space is on an NBA jersey. Like you get a patch on the sleeves and you get the name like across the top of the chest, but that's really it. The number and the name is more of what you get on an NFL jersey. So like and this is where I kind of disagree with you, Kyle, and not much, but if we've seen anything, we know that any sports team just cares about bottom line and revenue. So if they can release a new jersey with a new advertisement on it as the main nameplate, and people are probably going to want to get that new jersey, unfortunately. If it's a color change or a scheme change or anything like that, that's where it might get into the notion where it's not protected.
So
that would be the only
special
thing.
themes are completely different. I'm with you on that. Yeah.
So I when the Rams came out with their new look a couple of years ago,
hated it.
So especially that goddamn bone uniform, whatever the hell that bone color is, but like a lot of people had pointed out, like, and again, I'm showing you guys here on the left top chest, they have a Rams patch on all of their jerseys, and I saw a hypothesis at the time that
the table, maybe.
that sets the table for a potential spot for a ad logo, and you know, I joke about that bone uniform, but especially that it sticks out on that one because the uniform is that like awkward gray, but like the patch is a white is a white team patch. So like
very
it's
corporate. Yeah.
It's already kind of training your eye a little bit to the
marketing team knew what the fuck they were
the
doing.
Possibility, you know. So like, you know, you sell.
Are you telling me they're big firms in LA that focus on marketing? That hell you say?
Crazy. But you know, I think the potential is there. You know, and like you said,
and that's
like
kind of set up like an NBA jersey is, where you have that subtle advertisement space. But like in hockey, I think that's where it gets a little tougher because there hasn't really been anything like that in the past. Whereas in the NBA, they used to have like the patches that they would do for like a lost team member of the organization or a number or something like that across. And then it was just like, oh, how can we monotonize this? Let's turn this into ad space instead. But we haven't seen that out of
the word
NHL.
Monopoly and monetize into one word. I don't know if you did that on purpose, but it's perfect.
I love that actually. And I mean, hockey does do some sort of thing, but the funny thing about like the hockey uniform is there's not any it's like the NFL. Again, you have number front and back, Some teams have a team name above the number on the front. Then you have like shoulder numbers and logo or stripes on a sleeve, and there's that general uniformity. How a team tweaks it in their own way. They will, but almost every single jersey in the NFL is the same in its base. Baseball, same in its base. Basketball, same in its base. I get hockey is too. You have a logo in the front, number on the back, name, whatever. But like some teams have shoulder patches, some don't. When you do a memorial thing, some teams will put it on the top right chest, some will put it on the top left chest, some will put it on one of the shoulders. And if they have a shoulder patch, then you'll just add one. If they don't have a shoulder patch, like the Flyers, then you can just throw it on the shoulder. So there's,
or they put it on the helmet too.
Yeah. There's no, within the structure of the NHL uniform, there's no real structure. Now, I will say, of the 5 teams that have released the news of what the corporate sponsored logo is going to be, all of them have been on the top right. So I don't know if that, and the NHL hasn't come out and said like this is the standard that is set, but that's where the 5 teams that have released it so far. I mean,
as a Capitals fan, like that's one of those 5 teams. Like, do you have any indifference to that, or is it
it doesn't bother me in the slightest. And I mean, and I know some people get mad that like, so, and I think the NBA's this way, but like when you buy a jersey on Fanatics or at your team store, that logo's coming with it. It's the same with the NHL. So next year when you buy a team jersey starting next year, it's going to have Caesar Sportsbook on it next season.
And as a collector of jerseys like I am, Jim, are you more prone to buy like an updated jersey then?
I mean, I will probably buy one, because it has the patch on it. Okay. Or like if there is an option to get the patch, to sew onto a jersey that I have. Like being a jersey collector that I am, I like to have, especially ones when you can kind of like catch a moment in time. So if this is going to change year to year, that almost, and it's going to work. Like, and that's the marketing tool behind this whole thing, because somebody like me, like a sucker, is going to just keep coming back year after year, and slugging money to the machine, And
Matt,
so
I have every fucking Philly Sixers City Edition jersey that you can name.
Yeah, I mean,
every year I'm like, yep, I don't care.
So the
couple Ben Simmons ones.
Yeah, the Capitals have a home red, a road white, and an alternate blue. Now next year they're doing the Adidas is bringing back the reverse retro. So I know I'm going to buy one of those for the Capitals, and the Capitals are playing in the Stadium Series next year against Carolina. So I know I'm going to be buying one of those. So I already know for a fact that I'm buying at least 2 brand new Capitals jerseys next year.
By the way, side note, gentlemen, I got a couple questions. First of all, this isn't a question, this is a statement. The only time that Jim won't buy something with a corporate logo on it would be with a Foot Locker, because it's a picture of a guy in an official's shirt.
You're not wrong, Kyle. You're not wrong.
The other piece is, and I think this is where whatever league, and it works because anybody wears skates, cleats, shoes of some sort. But I know 1 week a year the NFL designed shoes and sneakers based on a charitable cause, right? Do you see a future where, especially with the way kicks are now for the kids, I said that to try to sound hip, sorry.
Hello, fellow youths.
Yes, you caught my Steve Buscemi moment there. Well done, sir. I see a future. Granted, some of them might look damn sharp. Like I could see a situation where if there's a corporation that has a very cool logo, or like, maybe they do something fancy with the Geico Gecko or something, on a shoe, and have that be a thing. First of all, you suckers will probably add shoes to your repertoire. Then second,
dude, I'm not a shoe guy, man.
And I'm showing my age. I do not look cool wearing those shoes at all.
I don't get it. Matt and I, one of the guys we podcast with on 3CT, he's a shoe guy. He doesn't hunt down every single like new Nike shoe or whatever, but there's some like he'll spend $200 on a pair of shoes that he's never gonna wear, and I'm like, what? where he'll wear one time just to see how they feel.
A pair of Jordans for the sake of buying a pair of Jordans one time, and that was enough for me.
Yeah,
Never
it's
again.
That world doesn't do it for me. At one time, I did like the Bam.
Kyle is correct. There are plenty of suckers that will.
Oh yeah, and I did the Bam. I did the Bam Margera sunglasses years ago. They appreciated in value because I just sold 4 pair of them for almost double what I bought them for at one time. Because there's still people out there.
Your marketing prowess is to be accounted for. Don't act like I didn't notice the influence of the WCW in your new logo for the 3CT.
See, he gets it.
There, yeah.
No,
got it.
Yeah. I think the shoe thing is a good way to compromise. It can get air quotes ridiculous, but it's out of the way enough that you don't really notice, right? Arches on the knee pads, right out. I'm not loving it. I'm referencing the picture you held up earlier, Jim, for those who can't see it because this is a podcast and not video. So
yeah.
Thanks, EJ.
So really, like, do you guys think it's only a matter of time before this trend hits the National Football League?
Define hits. Will there be a time, as the Rams have so gracefully groomed, as we've talked of here, where that happens? Inevitably.
I mean,
Thanos,
practice uniforms already have practice jerseys already have a corporate sponsor, at least with some teams. I know the Ravens have.
The public never sees that. I don't give a damn.
We're seeing it though with
that.
like the color rush jerseys and the alternate jerseys, like not to the advertising extent, but will NFL teams start bringing in new alternate jerseys? Yes, like the Eagles already said they're bringing back Kelly Green next year. You know that's going to cause a wave of fans buying.
Oh my God, yeah.
Kelly Green, or Brown, or
if there was an Eagles player I cared about, I'd get one.
Tampa's already announced they're bringing back the creamsicle.
Yeah.
I'm sure Dallas will do their 1960s blue and white.
Dallas with their big changes from their blue and silver. Like, come on.
Look at the Thanksgiving throwbacks they used to have, the blue and white. I mean, it's not a drastic change, but it is different.
The various shade of navy blue.
Oh man, I love those Thanksgiving throwbacks.
God, Jim.
But
you're going to tell me Ric Flair's your favorite wrestler. I'm kidding.
No, I will not say that. But
someone even worse.
Is that possible?
But
yes, because he's Canadian.
Jesus.
Oh, Chris Benoit? No.
Oh, wow.
No, worse.
Joe Buck yourself.
Got him. Woo. Got him.
Woo. Hot under the collar.
I'm not even on the pod, and I'm getting you. What?
Jeez. And well, I think the tone here, because for me, I don't get it. There's plenty of other places, referees, that I can place my anger when it comes to watching sports.
Foot Locker logo.
That I can't see getting mad about. Doug Flutie.
Leave Doug Flutie out of this.
The Collinsworth family.
Amazing. You better watch yourself. I will fight you, Matt.
Like I can't get mad about a 3x4-inch logo on a jersey. I can't.
I think it's always just going to be too subtle for people to really get upset. I don't think we see the level that we see in soccer or NASCAR. It's not going to get to that point.
The level of revenue is a factor. I agree. Like, while NASCAR is already ridiculous, I think that's the way it is because it was a growing sport before it was a prominent sport, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think, things have to get even worse than they are now in baseball for that to happen. Somehow I feel like hockey is relatively safe at the NHL level. And let's be honest, you purists are dummies. You're keeping opportunities for academic institutions to get some extra cash to keep the sport on the ice or field or court.
That's what I was going to say. I wouldn't be surprised if colleges went closer to the soccer route than we do see.
I mentioned USC reaching directly their target audience. What,
Now,
college
Notre
kids you
Dame
talk
won't
to?
do that because there's too much pride there, but other schools, sure.
Too much
Yeah.
pride, sure.
Yeah.
And all the,
They make enough money from the church. They don't need to go
That's
down that route.
Ooh, good point.
That-
I
I
was
mean-
going to say they were going to get a tire ad so they could be inflated just like their rankings.
But yeah,
Goodness dang, yeah.
it's just yeah, it's, you know, I don't think it's good or like I'm just very indifferent on it. Like it's, and here's the thing, it's going to happen. So what's the sense in get? I mean, we've grown up from a hockey standpoint with ads on the boards. I've never been to a hockey game in my life where there wasn't ads on the boards.
I mean, ads on the ice too was a big
Yeah.
deal. So
I think that's cool.
Yeah,
and
I
it's,
mean,
like no one even notices it at this point. Like if you turn on a hockey game, you haven't watched a hockey game in 8 years, you're not going to be like, "What are these advertisements doing?"
yeah, I mean, so
one
yeah, like it
knows.
used to be just the four in like the center ice area. Now there's the two behind the net in the trapezoids, and yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I don't think without pointing that out, there's probably people who wouldn't even see them. You know, like so, yeah, I just. You know, and obviously teams are going to announce when they come to terms with whatever sponsor is going to be on their uniform, it will be announced. But I think by the time the game's starting again, most times when you're watching these games, you're watching from a wide angle. You know, and even at the close up, the game's moving. So I don't think you even have a ton of time to pay attention to that sort of thing. You know, so yeah, I'm. It's an interesting topic. We'll see. You know, who and where the sponsor ads for baseball and hockey end up being for the rest of the teams.
If I may, Jim, I gotta add one more caveat, because
Sure,
if I
absolutely.
don't do this as somebody who covers UCF, I have not done my job well. But did you guys hear what they did for the spring game?
I did not. Oh wait,
Okay.
It was the QR codes, right?
Very good. Yes. This time, that time last year, they had put the Twitter handles of all the players instead of the name brand. This year, they put the QR code instead of the numbers on the back. And boy, was that hullabaloo, man. The blue buds of the world, you know, I'm sure there's some old people wearing your blue and gold, and there's like, oh my God, what are they doing? Derma Fields.
Oh, they would lose their mind. Yeah, you try and
I'm
do that in
with
South.
I'm with the boomers on this. I don't want to pull up my phone and scan a QR code. Give me a fucking menu so I can look at it.
Okay, the menus are fine. I agree with you.
Oh,
there,
dude, I was
but it's
at a
on the
brewery.
jersey.
I was at a brewery a couple weeks ago. That was the first time that I've had to pull out my phone and hit the QR code for the beer list. And I was like, I felt so old in the moment because I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? I was like, there's
Well,
not a
I mean,
menu.
See, there's that moment you're like, all right, I got this. Let's do this. And then you're like, what the, huh? And
It's like, hold on,
when
my
it doesn't work the first
the
time,
Wi-Fi's not working.
yeah, do something, you know. No, but with the QR code, like, I think that's a whole other aspect that could take off too. And you know, granted, maybe not as much with the major major pro sports out there, you know. I think this is something we need to watch more closely in the college ranks, especially
name, image,
with
likeness.
NIL being a thing. Gus Malzahn, during the spring, every presser he was at was wearing a different player's T-shirt, for Christ's sake.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, shit.
I mean, honestly, I mean that it's something that's wild that we'll continue to watch.
I
But
mean, as someone that
good on
covered
him
it,
for
was it,
doing
like,
that, though.
Easily accessible for you to scan that code.
From me from the press box, no.
Okay.
But somebody down in the lower bowl while the guy's on the bench and not playing, yeah, it was pretty practical.
Or like someone on TV could easily access that too. Then I would assume.
If the right angle, sure. I'm not.
Okay.
I've not tested that.
Okay.
I don't know if like you could scan a QR through another screen as such. I've not tried it.
I also don't
But
necessarily.
it does work when I do my Nintendo parental control. So
Yeah, and like I don't. You know, I don't hate that for a spring game either. Like, you know, whether or not we'll see that in
Full-time.
you know, full time, or if it's a situation where each player gets a QR code on the the front shoulder of their jersey or something, stuff like that will remain to be seen. But for a spring game, man, you want to do fun,
like maybe like a UCF game, because most people watching that would be within scanning distance anyway.
Have you seen the numbers? Apparently not. I mean, you wouldn't. You're too scared to play them. So.
But
hey, I don't control scheduling. I don't know what pool you think I have with Notre Dame, but
not screaming. I don't control it. We just play this candy ass conference that we're in, but we won't admit it.
Well, we're not in a conference. That was only one time
there it is.
When we came in and murked the ACC. But that was
was beautiful.
One time and one time only, and that's all we needed.
Yeah,
Notre Dame has
a conference and you go to the championship. That's
100% of the seasons Notre Dame's been in a conference, they've been conference champions. So
I mean, Jim and I never high-fived harder for Notre Dame than in 2020. Yep. That's all I can tell you.
Darn right. Any other thoughts, gentlemen, on the topic at hand?
ACC sucks.
Agreed.
Fine by me, Matt.
Fuck Pete Carroll.
Fuck Pete Carroll. Forever fuck Pete Carroll. Matt, let the people know where they can keep track of what you're doing.
Yep, you can find me on Twitter. It's at 3CT Affiliate. You can hear me on Thursdays at the 3 Count Thursday podcast. Jim will drool over Brett the Hitman Hart, just like Brett the Hitman Hart drools over himself.
I mean, if I look like that, I would too. Like, I'm just saying.
No. I was just saying, Matt makes that joke because Bret Hart had a stroke. Yeah, see, not cool, man, not cool.
I mean, how could you tell with those shades? Anyways.
All right, Kyle, let the people know where they can keep track of you.
Oh, great. Lean into the joke about the stroke guy. Hey, tell the people who you are. Oh, wonderful. Snap.
Thanks, McBurgertown.
Yeah, right. This is Kyle Nash, student of the game. You can find me on Twitter at the SOTG. Find me on Instagram as the same, the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as the student of the game. Check out my work with the 3pointconversion.com, as well as the Black and Gold Banneret, covering all things UCF football and basketball, and also with hilarity by default on YouTube. Gentlemen, honor, joy, and privilege. But until next time, everyone, class dismissed.
All right, you can follow me at Big Jim Sports. Make sure you're following the show at Huddle Up Podcast on Facebook and Twitter. And make sure you're subscribed to the show, all podcast platforms, YouTube as well. Once we get back into the football season, we'll be back on there with video as we do each and every week. And make sure you check out our merchandise over at tpublic.com. Hit the link tree in any of our social media sites. Until next time, stay safe, stay smart, and go for the pin. No, the win. Pin's on Thursday.
Works.
You can go for a pin as well, but go for the win.